Never gets old. Ooh, that was a good one. Ooh, screaming while running. That's impressive.
Screaming power slide.
Power slide. He's wearing socks on the hardwood floor, right?
Right.
Yo, YouTube, welcome back to another live. You don't have to just watch Stupid Me and Charlie tonight. We've got an extra person coming on in a little bit here. We'll introduce him, and you can get to know one of our newer sellers. We thought this was a good time to bring on somebody who's new in the game. Things are always changing, as we all know. We started this show with me as the grizzled vet and Charlie as the noob, which he's no longer the noob. He even knows how to take pictures now. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But we decided it was a good move to bring in somebody new a couple weeks in and see some perspective from what's going on now. So that's what we're going to do. We don't have any specific topics tonight. We're going to kind of see where things lead. I actually do not know that much about this person. A couple of emails back and forth. New person in the Discord. By the way, if you're not on the Discord, the link is just passing by. Here it comes again. We have the banner on the bottom here. My Patreon link is there if you wanted to contribute to the channel. Otherwise, the second link there is for the Discord. Go on there. It's free to join. We have all kinds of good conversation on there, and I'm sure our guest will be promoting it as well. He does also have a YouTube channel, so we'll talk about that a little bit and where he's at with YouTube. Since we all do YouTube, all three of us on here tonight, and we all have different ways we run it and different goals, so it'll be fun to see, have another person on here that's playing the game, and maybe they're playing it a little differently. So what's going on, Charlie? What's new?
Well, first of all, I knew it was going to be a big night, so I busted out my best flannel.
Boy,
to look my best tonight. It's been busy, man. It's been busy. You saw the same. Sales have been gangbusters. Now,
yeah.
For me, I think it's still going strong for you. The last 2 days have slid back down a little more like normal, but I had a good solid 2 weeks where, I was just basically raising my averages up every day.
It's funny because just as I started the countdown on this video, I had a 22 card order. It was literally, I was getting the dollar signs while the show was starting. So yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just quantities. I've been selling bigger quantities. I've had, a couple orders of 70 cards, 80 cards. I had one order a couple days ago, 176 cards. So I like that. That's good. And it's freeing up some space because basically my primary store is full, and which is why I started the second store and putting the non-sport stuff over there. But it was nice to get some big sales and get some big quantity out because it freed up some space to list some more into the primary store. So I like that. I think things seem to be working pretty well that way.
Yeah.
And hopefully the sales keep going.
I've been seeing a little bit of a trend too of multi-card sales late in the day. So hopefully I'll have some more come through during the show today. But it's funny, I say it slowed down the last couple of days, but it's been up so much lately that
a
down day today, I'm still hitting what I was shooting for a daily average 4 months ago.
Right. Right. You really have to get through that lull of September. It kind of starts later September, and then especially if you're doing a lot of football or basketball, because neither of those things really have much going on. But during the football season, it's weird. Cards don't sell that well. You'd think during the season they would, but it's like it really waits till winter heats up and Christmas is here and all that, and then football just explodes. Yeah. I was able to offset a lot more of the September, October, November slowdown this year by doing a lot more baseball. So that's going to kind of be my game. And then summer always does okay anyway, because you have all the conventions and the shows and stuff like that. And I feel like those months are always pretty solid. And then we have that late fall, slow down as people are saving money for Christmas and that kind of thing.
You're going to have to hope that All-Star Game set comes out again next year.
Yeah, I'm still selling cards out of that. Lots of them. I sold a few more today. So every day I've got sales on that stuff. One of the sales I just got right now is an Ace Ventura card. So that's pretty awesome.
That's right up there with my Alf Ketter card today.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Good stuff.
Gordon Shumway.
Gordon Shumway. Yeah, so it's going to be really fun, I think, to just kind of see how it goes. And it's nice to get the sales now. It gives you a little bit of money to put back into it and get some more stuff and keep it growing for sure. Yeah, this week I haven't, other than what you would have seen in the video today. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Anybody on here who's watching this, I go over some sales, but I went over a lot about, the second store and just kind of my process for that. I ended up getting another phone that I have logged in just for that store so that I don't have to split between.
So you have two now, or you got a replacement? I got to grab something here while you're talking about that.
So I shouldn't say new phone. I didn't go get a new phone. I had a phone here that it was actually Luna's first phone. And we upgraded her to get something a little bit better. And so it doesn't have service or anything, but really all I need it for is, hook up to the Wi-Fi and be able to take pictures and that kind of thing.
So just double checking to make sure this was actually in there.
The cubby, nice.
Clark.
I like it.
You ever get that sometimes where you list two cards and you're like, did I really have two?
Yeah.
Because one just sold like a day or
I have. Yeah. Sometimes I'll check that when I'm pulling the card out of the bag. I'll be like, I'm going to count the rest of them and make sure it's right so I can go back and change it if I need to. Yeah, it's been extremely busy around here. We got the goat show coming up on Sunday. Sunday. You want to throw the flyer out there?
Show. Last
call. If you're going to be in the Green Bay area, come join us. Check it out. We got free packs for the kids. We've got if you bring some canned goods, we have a drawing for a Sterling Sharp autographed helmet. We are hoping to have 88 dealer tables. We'll see. We haven't sold out yet, so we do have tables available if anybody's looking for a table. Pokemon right now. The prices are insane, and the shelves are all cleared out, and it's got some kind of weird boom going on right now. So if you're looking for some Pokemon, you got to get out there and get this stuff right now. So we have plenty of Pokemon dealers. We'll have wax dealers. We'll have some memorabilia stuff. I know we have a vendor who sells Pokemon stuff, not necessarily cards, but other stuff, little keychain things and stuff like that. So if you're just looking for Pokemon merchandise, we've got a dealer that's providing that as well. And of course, Charlie and myself, we are going to be, where did it go? Here it is. I took it off because I was taking a break, but we are going to be doing Card Dealer Pro demos. And I took a picture, posted it on the Goat Show Facebook page. We have some gear to give out. So we want some people to come and try their hand at using Card Dealer Pro if you haven't used it before. Yeah, I think it'll be good. We got some good food. We're going to try to book for the next show right away. I got a call tomorrow and see if I can get that all set up and sign the contract and everything. So we're keeping it going. We're going to keep growing it. So we want as many people to participate as possible. I got a really interesting message from my sister this morning, and she sent me a picture of the flyer, and she said, "Is this your company?" And I said, well, my company is involved in it, and then it's a partnership with, another company and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to, get too corporate on it, but I said, yeah, that's our show. I said, we've got some packs coming out, and she said, oh yeah, one of my good friends that she goes to Ireland every couple of years. One of my good friends that I travel with, Her husband's going and taking his son. It's the first time he's ever been to a card show. They're really excited about it.
Nice.
So that's what we want to hear. And this is somebody who's not involved currently in the card community. So we're getting good reach. We're getting a lot of, potential customers coming in that are going to be looking to buy. Whether it's Pokemon, sports cards, non-sport cards. We're going to have something for everybody. So really looking forward to it. Easy parking. It's free admission. You don't have to stand in the cold. We got a nice place for you to stand until the show opens if you come early. Show's open only until 2, so you're not going to miss the Packer game. Packers play at 3:30, I think.
Yeah, 3:30. Actual kickoff, yeah.
3:15, whatever. Yeah, whatever it is. They're not playing at home, so you don't have to worry about, Packer traffic or anything like that. Unfortunately, it would be better if they were playing at home, but they're not. So you're not going to miss any of the game. So yeah, come out and join us. We've got a full bar, good food. Food was amazing and very, very fairly priced.
Yeah,
for what you get.
Look at those beef tips again.
Yeah, I am. I might get that before I do anything else, that day. But we got plenty of space. It's a nice hall. It's big. All on one floor. It's all one big open room. You don't have to run in between a bunch of different rooms and try to find where everything is. Battle small walkways with crowds and things like that. There's gonna be an easy in and an easy out, and lots of good stuff. And I'm a buyer. I need some. There's a bunch of inventory stuff that I want to pick up. So if you're a dealer and you've got my kind of stuff, some value boxes, book a table, and I'll probably buy from you.
Yeah.
Because I need stuff. So that's it. That's the Pump for the Goat show.
Lots of activity this week, as is the norm. Card shows tend to book in the last week and a half pretty frenetically. And none different here. The phone's been going crazy with people still looking to get a table. What's the email, Adam? I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh boy. The Goat Card Show at gmail.com.
You got it.
I know, right? It's in there now.
16 episodes.
The Goat Card Show at gmail.com. Yeah. If you have any questions, just email us. We have four members on our team, so somebody gets back to you right away. We can answer questions. We have a floor plan map, so if there's a certain spot, as long as it's not currently occupied, that you want for your table space, we will accommodate that. We do have a discount if you buy an additional table. So the first table is $50, but each additional table is only $40. So if you're a multi-table dealer, we've got some savings for you there as well. All right. So that's it for the Goat Show. That's our final pump, as that's happening this weekend, and we're really looking forward to it. We had a great show the first show, so we had a lot to build on, which was good. It kind of gives you that opportunity to go, okay, well, we could do this better. We could do this differently. We took a lot of that on. We're on the marquee. Right on Main Street is where Riverside Ballroom is located, and lots and lots of cars passing by there. We're on that marquee, so everybody knows there's a card show going on Sunday. So we're going to have a good turnout. So be there, be square. Be square, and then take a photo, and then crop it.
In 3x4.
In 3x4. No, you don't have to crop if it's 3x4. Oh, I see what you're saying. Take 101 and cropping it to 3x4. So maybe we should probably explain what the heck we're talking about. So I was setting up this second device that I'm using for my second store, and I was setting up the picture app on it because I take photos of cards that I can't scan. And I'm taking pictures, and I'm thinking, I've had this. Charlie keeps bringing up this. I got to crop photos thing, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? So I'm pulled up the photo app, and I'm like, I changed it to 3x4 or 3. What is it? 3 no, not parentheses.
3
semicolon, 3 colon, whatever. 4. Anyway, ratio. You need that 3x4 ratio, and I'm like, I bet he's never changed the damn ratio on his camera. So I didn't even ask him that. I just said, "Hey, what's the where's your ratio on your pictures?" And he replies, "Thank you so much." So clearly that was what was going on. So I don't know. It just made me chuckle. I was
That
glad that we were able to figure it out for you.
that gets me a heck of a lot closer to one of my documented goals for the year.
Yeah, it'll save you a lot of time. I don't really crop anything, so I was just confused. I thought, well, maybe your phone doesn't have a 3x4. I don't know. It seemed weird that would be the case, but
Yeah, it was driving me
uh,
nuts, to be honest. Like
uh,
I was like, this should not be this difficult. What am I doing wrong? Ooh, I just sold one of the Marvel Masterpieces XL gold foils. Nice.
ooh, nice. That's got to be a
Yeah.
decent one.
Yeah.
Been selling a lot. Brady hadn't been too hot, but I've been selling a ton of Brady lately. So it's funny how he
Really?
kind of comes back around. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he
You
had
know,
slowed down quite a bit.
hmm you know what's fun now is when I started this, like 2018, 2019, like the cards weren't that old. I
Yeah.
mean, I had stuff from the 90s and that, but you were basically selling like current ripped products, for a couple of years. And
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, it's 2025 and I've got 2019 stuff still
He's
listed.
almost vintage.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I can't find that stuff. You're not going to find any of those packs. A lot of the cards aren't showing up in value boxes. You just see all the
Yeah.
ultra, this year's products type stuff. So it's kind of interesting that, now those are sort of like Devonta Smith. I've been selling a bunch of his stuff, and he's good, and the Eagles are good and all that. So I get that part of it. But he was a rookie in 21. Well, everybody was ripping stuff in 2021. So nobody bought Devonta Adams, like base rookies and stuff. And
Right.
I sold a few of them this week. So, even like Prism Draft, who wants Prism Draft? But, so I thought that was really interesting that, some of that stuff is moving now because now it's not on the shelves and it hasn't been for a while. Um, so yeah, but if something sits for a while, it doesn't mean it isn't going to sell. You gotta stick with it, and um, you'll get the sales. Eventually, they will happen for sure.
Yeah.
As long as you're priced, you got to be priced right, of course. All right, should we bring on our guest and find out all about this mystery person?
I think we should. Are you working off your phone or your laptop tonight?
I'm working off my phone.
Okay. Because it's showing
Yeah.
you got 1 bar of Wi-Fi and you are just freezing up. I'm hoping we don't have any
Oh,
trouble with it.
nope. I seem fine. You're the one who seems fuzzy a little bit. So maybe it's you. I don't know.
All right. It's not me, it's you.
Anyway, huh?
It's not me, it's you.
It's a damn basement location. It's got to run a dedicated line. But that's another thing they're doing in my neighborhood is they're taking all the power lines and they're burying them. My specific block already had them underground, but some of the earlier parts of the neighborhood weren't. So we have some little bit of interesting power things going on as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring our guest on. Do you want to add him to the floor, and I'll kind of
Yeah.
introduce him here. Hey, there he is. He made it. That's good. So we've got Boomslang here. So why don't you? This is Mickey. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what the hell's up with Boomslang? What does that mean?
I get I get that a lot. So boomslang is a
I'm
snake.
sure.
It's a poison snake. And when I first started doing my YouTube, I did gaming videos, first person shooter, stuff like that. So that was my tag. That was my
Got it.
character. That was my tag. So I just kind of, once I discovered other YouTubers that were doing baseball card videos, I'm like, yo, I've been doing that my whole life. I've been collecting these cards.
Sure.
So if they can do it, surely I can do it. And I've got a massive collection. So I started doing that. I just kept it as Boomslang because that was the name of my channel was Boomslang.
Sure.
So I didn't change it. I know
You
you
gotta
can
be
change
kidding
the
me.
name.
Did you play Call of Duty?
I did like all of them. I'm a lot older than you. I did the Medal of Honors. I did all that stuff.
I think I've been in some parties with you on Call of Duty with the
Yeah, neither have I.
But back in the day, I swear I remember your name in some of the parties we played in.
Maybe. There was a point, I liked always sniping and stuff like that. But that's a whole different thing from what we're here for tonight. I mean, guys are here to talk about cards and stuff, and that's what we're here. And not only that, just cards, but the eBay experience. So a little bit about me. I live in New Jersey, so quite a ways away from you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to make the Green Bay show.
Okay, fair enough.
The wife and I had talked about going to the Strongsville, though, in Ohio. We
Okay.
talked about doing that this year. Now, I just retired this year, January 1st. I'm done working. I'm at that.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And so I needed something to do, like, oh, you're going to get bored. You're going to do this. I said, nah, I got my YouTube, and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, but, I said, yeah, all right, well, I'll find something to do. So a couple months prior to that, I started talking to people at work and talking with my wife. And we decided that I was not going to retire, that I was going to continue my next. So I've retired from the military, 21 and a half years there. I retired from Boeing over in Ridley Park, PA, where we built Chinook helicopters. I did 16 years there. And now I'm starting the third phase of my life cycle, or whatever you want to call it. And it is eBay. Now, I've always been a buyer. So all of my things have been from buying. I've got over 6 years, going on 7 years on YouTube. And I've got over 7 days on eBay. January 1st was the day that I said, that's it. I'm not going to screw up any of my taxes or anything for 2024. I'll start everything brand new page, everything in 2025. So I did. Now, I had, and I messaged you before on one of your videos that I asked you how you think vintage baseball cards would sell. Mm-hmm. And you're like, pretty good. And I just bought a guy. I'm fortunate enough to live in a part of the country where when you go on Facebook Marketplace, there's people always selling their cards, always, right? And I've been to a lot. The next to last collection that I bought was 2.5 million cards from one guy. It was his brothers who passed away. The cards had not been touched since 2009. They've been sitting in his garage. And I mean, garage, it was like a 3-bay garage, and the guy's like, I got to get rid of it. He wanted $5,000 for it. I gave him 35. You can't look at all that stuff. You kind of just walk through it and you look and say, okay. You see what's on the boxes, but that's not always what's in the box,
Right.
So it took me, my wife, and another kid like 3 hours. And the guy finally showed up too. So it was 4 of us. It took us several hours to load the U-Haul truck. I rented a U-Haul, drove it from Trenton all the way down to where I live, South Jersey. And took me and my wife 2 days to unload it.
Jeez.
And I put it in my garage. It's a one-car garage. And people who've seen my videos before, I showed my garage. It was really nice. It was set up really nice. I had it set up like a card shop. I had the display cases and I had unopened wax. Everything that I had was on display. I had a vending machine, and other things where you could just vend out packs of cards, whatever. Well, all that had to go because I was like your neighborhood episode of hoarding. I have one little walkway now, and my collection went from I already had like 1.5 million, so I'm up around 4 million now. I'm over 4.5 million cards in my collection, so it is time to offload this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have what I want, and the rest is just gotta go. So
when you bought them, was that your intention? Was okay, I'm gonna buy these and flip them, and sell what I don't want?
No.
You intended to keep all of them?
I wanted to go through them and pick what I wanted. Whatever happened to the rest just would sit until I figured out what I wanted to do with them.
Okay.
When you get a box with 900 of the same card in it, They're not 1952 Topps Mickey Mantles. There's not
Right.
900 of them. It's more like a 1990 Donruss. That pitcher for the Dodgers. Anyway, he had 53 consecutive.
Earl Hershiser.
Hershiser. There you go. Yes, condiment cards with Earl Hershiser, and then the very next row was over 900 cards of the same 90 Donruss of Eric Davis.
Okay.
So sometimes you get collections like that, and,
Sure.
and throughout my life, I started collecting in 1971 a little bit, and like I said, I'm a little bit older than you guys. But in 1972, I really started collecting, and I went in hard, and I'm buying everything: hockey, basketball, football, baseball. I discovered it, and my eyes are open, and I'm like, holy cow. And I was going out, was shoveling snow, earning money. I was cutting grass in the summertime, earning money. And then on Sunday mornings, when my dad would want me to go to the newspaper stand, and that's where they sold the cards, I'd be able to keep his change, and it didn't cost you but 10 cents for a pack of cards back then.
Sure.
And the cards, and I'd go home with a pack of cards and my dad's newspapers. And that was every Sunday like that. So it just kept going, and it's got to the point now, that it's time to stop.
So are you still going to be a collector?
Oh, yeah. In front of me, you guys can't see it, but I have. If you go back and look at some of my videos, you see all my binders. Well, not all of them, half of them. I'm a set builder, and I'm a master set builder. Where I want to put all the variations in the sets as well, but I can't go from 52 up, right? And I'm focusing mainly on tops, so I'm going to go for my birth year, which is 1959 on up, and that alone to get some of the males that I need is. I want them in a good grade, a 4 or 5. That's expensive. That's going to cost money. So this is going to be a way to maybe get some of that money together, selling off some of this other stuff, and continuing my collecting as well as getting rid of all that stuff that the wife wants me to get rid of anyway.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of similar to the kids, the way they try to trade up cards, right? So you've got stuff you don't need for your collection, you're going to sell to fund your pursuit of the ones you do need.
Yes. And other collectors than that.
That's kind of how I started too. I was a far collector. I didn't do vintage baseball, but I would see a card that I wanted or needed for my collection for $25, or I could find in a lot with 20 other cards for $25.
Yeah. So
I'd just buy the lot, and then I'd just stick the extra cards aside, and I'll do something with these one day, and you end up with 40,000 Brett Favre cards you don't need.
Yes.
I was fortunate because I started a couple of years before the boom and the pandemic and all that stuff. I just decided, I'm going to start throwing some of these on eBay and see how they do, and I was making money on them. And I didn't have a big investment into most of it as it was. So it was like, man, it's all like pure profit. But that was all before eBay standard envelope. So it was like, you had to put a stamp on it and just trust that it might get there. And so I never intended it to be a business. So that was just going to be a side hustle. And if, a couple envelopes get lost, they get lost, no big deal. But as eBay started putting, and the cards were booming and all that, and eBay wanted to invest more in that part of their business, it was like, okay, this, and then they started giving us 60,000 listings, versus 1,000 listings. And it's just started to seem more and more like a viable thing to actually do to make money. If you can go through the grind and you can get all the listings up and all that, do all the shipping, they were putting tools in place that would allow you to be able to do that. So what has been, so you said you've been on eBay now for like a week, right?
Yeah, a week.
So how has your first week experience been?
Okay. So first off, let me just say this. A good friend of mine who's an eBayer turned me on to your channel first off. So that helped fuel my drive to do. I saw what you're doing, and I saw the mistakes that I was going to make through watching just your videos. So I was binging a lot of your videos and learning, and I copied a lot of your stuff. I hope you don't mind, but I also give you credit. in my videos that I've been shooting throughout the week. I've been giving you credit for all the stuff that I've been using and copying. So
I appreciate that.
Thank you. And my friend's name is Jeff Airtime, by the way.
Sure, I know who he is.
Okay, so he lives like a couple miles from me.
Okay.
And so he told me to watch your videos, and I started binging them. And one thing that I saw on your video was I saw some older cards, vintage we'll call them, right? They were vintage cards, and they had some wear on them. Or I was taking those cards and I'm throwing them out. I'd be sorting them like ka-ching, 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 right in the trash can. And he's telling me, "What are you doing?" And so when I saw you doing that, that's why I messaged you, said, I noticed that card had a crease in it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to sell that card?
I saw stuff that's gone through the laundry, man.
So I had been giving cards away to people that were like not up to my standard. Like, I don't want, there's no crease cards in my collection as far as my PC. And I come across them I buy, like I said, I bought a lot of collections in the past, and some of them I haven't even gotten that 2.5 million. I didn't finish sorting it because I had a leak in my kitchen and my cards are in my basement. My house is on a slab, and everything leaked into the garage, and it destroyed some of the boxes that were sitting on the floor because they didn't have everything up off the floor. So I had to clear that out. Right now I have a 10x10 storage unit filled over 855,000 count boxes, 5 rows, monster boxes, whatever you call it, because I listened to your video today.
Yeah.
5 row
monster boxes. That's what we all call them. And sometimes when I say it now, I'm like, I should probably explain what the hell that is, because kids don't know.
Well, it's filled front to back, top to floor, side to side. There's no room. There's room in there for a light bulb. That's it. And so now that my house has been repaired, I got to move all that stuff back when the weather warms up. And that's going to save me $250, $260 a month in storage alone. Sure. And that's going to free up card money, right? But my first week was hectic. I'm like, I'm going to go in slow. Jeff and I are talking about, we're going to go slow, don't rush it. And I just took the basic thing, 250 free downloads. Okay. I'm putting everything in by hand, taking pictures of all the corners, doing everything, right? Laying it out. I'm like, man, this is killing me. And then my first orders came in. And I went to hook up my thermal printer. I hook it up. And it wanted a password to start it. I'm like, I don't have a password. I threw all those boxes away. I bought this thing 3 weeks ago. And I threw it away. I just have it set up here waiting for day one, And so I had to contact the manufacturer, and he tried to help me out. It was copy and paste this, snapshot that, crop it on a Acrobat Reader program. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts, right? I'm going nuts. I'm printing out. First off, when I print, they were like literally like that big, the labels.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, after 10 of them, I'm like, what? I'm spending money that I haven't earned yet.
Right? Oh yeah.
So I said, that's enough. And I was talking to Jeff, and I'm sure he was pulling his hair out too with all my questions. And so I said, you know what? That's it. I bought a spot. I bought a store on eBay. Boom, magic wand. The labels start working perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Now, the only problem I'm having now is combining shipments. I'm still don't have that down. But day one, I was going nuts. My wife could tell you, if she would come in the room, she'd be like, ugh. Because I was going nuts.
Sure.
And so after day one, I got the store. I had a couple of days prior to that, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy the Fujitsu. I bought that, the 8170. Nice. I'm expecting this big monster machine to come in. It's like a little loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck is this?
If it was the 80s, it would have been a big monster machine.
Right.
I know. I got the monsters over there.
I'm glad it's not, because we share it and we have to transport it back and forth. So
yeah.
So my entry into eBay was I bought a guy's. He got out of his eBay store. He sold me all his baseball cards on, and it was $2,400. $2,400. I'm like, okay. So I'm already in the hole, $2,400. Thinking I went and bought the printer. I was putting it off. I'm like, nah, I got to get that printer because I'm going to need it. If I really get into this, I really want to get into it and have a bigger store, I'm going to have to, just like you guys do.
Charlie fought the printer for a while too.
Yeah. This is bringing back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
There you go. So now you're having a little bit of deja vu, all over again, right? And I'm living your nightmare now, and so it's a process that everyone's going to have to probably go through,
Yep.
unless they're born with eBay blood, I guess.
The log, yeah.
And the young kids probably are that way. The young people, they're all this smart with all this electronics and stuff like that, and they'll probably figure it out.
Yeah. How did it feel when you got those first couple sales? Was that like a driving force to keep going?
It was, yes. I'm like, yeah, all right, it's working. And then I'm texting Jeff. I'm like, oh, Jeff, by the way, I sold $5 worth of cards today. He goes, oh, good. I made a $40 sale today. And I'm like,
yeah. Good job,
right?
Jeff.
Fine, be that way. No, I'm happy for him because we are now pushing each other. Like he exceeded his 10,000 or 5,000 now, and he's going for 6,000, listings. Me, I'm at 350, and I'm going for 500 eventually. I'm not going to rush it. I've got my entire life, what's left of it, to do this. I'm retired. I don't have a full-time job. I don't have to get up and go to work like a lot of other people do, and then come home and do this for a couple hours. This is my day. When I want to take a nap, guess what? I can go take a nap. I want to get up and walk away. I can walk away. The sales, they'll take care of themselves. You'll hear the cha-ching on your phone.
Yeah.
The first couple
Adam
days,
won't. He turns that off because he gets so many.
It's in the middle of the night is the ching ching ching. When you start getting more multi-card orders, it gets really obnoxious. If you have somebody order 40 cards and it dings all 40 of them,
right?
It's pretty insane.
And I haven't gotten into multiple listings yet. I did put together some 20 card lots, some 15 card lots, like Derek Jeter lots, stuff like that. But
you can just send the Jeters to me.
There you go. I think I put together like 10, 20 card lots of Jeter, and so a couple 15, because I wanted to try to mix it up a little bit, but it's hard to get that many different cards. So I throw a couple different ones in each lot at least to spice it up, I guess. But
I always kind of look at lots as something that doesn't really save you any time over listing a single card, because you still have to take a picture of the front and the back of each card. You got to make the listing somewhat make sense, to try to get a buyer. You really should list every single card in the description. And then you're trying to find a buyer who wants like all those cards all together, which is
right.
You're slimming down your buyer pool so much, unless you're going to sell them really cheap and sell them to another, flipper. But if you want to try to get a market price, lots just don't really pull it off.
Okay. I haven't done that yet, but that's one thing I considered. And before the beginning, it was like, okay, I can do this, because as a buyer, that's what we look for, right? What I'm looking for as a buyer, not so much on eBay, but when you go to the card shows, like Jeff and I are going to go to the card show this weekend. They had one on New Year's Day in my area. These guys are hardcore around here. I was sick. I wanted to go, but I was sick, and I'm feeling a lot better now. So Jeff and I are going to go. And he's going to have to teach me. I went with him before, and I would do 2 or 3 hours there, and he'd be out $1, like a dime box, a quarter box, and he just all that stuff out. And I'm like, dude, I don't know nothing about soccer. I don't know nothing about this, And he's got it. He's got the knack to pick the winners. I haven't learned that because my focus for the last 15 years has been baseball.
Yeah.
That's where it comes in handy collaborating with someone like Adam and I do, because we like to share each other's picks and finds, after the shows. And, Adam has taught me a lot about soccer names and some vintage stuff. And I'd like to think I taught Adam some things about baseball, right? And things like that. So it is good. I think it's a great benefit when you have someone else in the business that you can work with and collaborate with.
Yeah.
There's such a variety of stuff that's been printed over the years that you're not going to know everything.
Right.
I kind of use Charlie for some racing stuff and WWE and things like that. I don't know a lot of that stuff. As long as you know the basics, like WWE women, okay, I buy women. I know they resell. I know some of the big name drivers and things like that. But yeah, when you start getting into more of the fringe stuff, it's a little bit tougher. And non-sport is even crazier because there's so much stuff. But there can be bigger money in it. So you shouldn't really totally write those off either. If you're looking at it from the business perspective, if it's not stuff you enjoy buying or you don't want to, have it in your collection or something, that's different. But if you're looking at just something you can get for $quarter and sell for $10, a lot of opportunity with some of that. So,
right.
But I've been doing this for, I don't know, 7-8 years now, and there's still a ton of stuff I learn. I learn every day. So
there you go. Yeah.
It's not a thing that ends.
And the market's going to change too with the younger people coming up, and they want their video game experience now in the card realm, or their Pokemon. A little bit, maybe people 40 might have to have a Pokemon, try to relive their childhood through a Pokemon collection or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
My first entries, because I've been watching you a lot, Adam, and I noticed like you had a lot of non-sport stuff going up and some oddball sports stuff, like those Fleer team cards, even just regular team photos, like the checklist cards and stuff like that. So I started out with non-sports stuff. And for the first 2 days, all I sold was, and I was fortunate enough to have some Garbage Pail Kids Series 2.
Oh, nice.
So I was throwing them up, and they were selling. Like, not a bunch, but they were selling like boom, boom, boom. Oh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe I've sold so far. And then I started into like some older baseball and football and stuff like that. There you go. Yeah.
Well, don't sleep on the GPK.
Exactly. As a kid, I bought all that stuff. Stuff, except the Pokemon. They came around later when my kids were little. So I don't have a whole lot of the Pokemon. But the Garbage Pail Kids, I picked up a couple hundred of them for $4 a couple years ago inside a G.I. Joe lunchbox. And inside that lunchbox, I opened it up because I could feel there's something there. I opened it up. And I'm like, I really wanted the lunchbox. But I'm like, okay, there's cards in here. And I didn't notice because I don't remember them, but there's big certificates in there too. I guess my box covers. There's a bunch of them in there, and I'm like, okay, well, how much for this whole thing? He goes, $4. So okay, $4. And I walked out of there. This was 4 years ago, and I just held on to them. I was going to give the lunchbox to a buddy of mine who's a GI Joe guy. And I'm like, hey, but I never got around to it. I forgot it the day I went to visit him when he opened up his card shop. And so I popped that thing open. I'm like, oh, look, Garbage Pail Kids. Okay, well, let's just load them up.
And what's great about those is they scan real easy. So sometimes it'll pick the name wrong because there's always an A and a B card for each design. So you have to pay attention to that. You might have to, choose the other version. But there's no parallels. Well, the new stuff does, of course, but the original Garbage Pail Kids, no parallels. It's all just a sticker. It's all white border. Scan real easy, and even vintage for that matter is to me the easiest turn because you just don't have all the other angles to it like you do modern cards. You can take a stack, run them through the scanner, hit list, and you're done.
Well, I didn't have the scanner at that time, so I had to photograph everything again.
Sure.
Like,
I did that for lots of years.
And speaking about the scanner, it took me a whole day to get it set up. Even though I was watching these videos about these guys who tell you to set it up, you just set it up by 2.5 to 3.5, and that's going to give you a crop, la, la, la. That wasn't working for me. I got some crazy numbers in there, like way bigger, and I had to keep just experimenting with it till I got it to fit. I got this fine little black border.
That's what you want.
Card now.
Yeah, you want just enough border to show all your edges and your corners. Yep.
Before it wasn't. Before it was showing the whole card, and the borders were fuzzed out. You couldn't see the corners. You couldn't see nothing. I'm like, I put up like 1972 Topps baseball,
Sure.
and a guy messaged me and said, "Hey, can you take pictures of this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" He gave me like 17 cards, and I still got like 50 more. I got to go back and re-photograph. And I also found out that your camera photos do not mix with the scanner photos.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm like, I'll just take pictures and add these. Nope, you got to delete these two, upload the 4 new ones. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Charlie and I talk about that a lot because obviously, ideally, you'd want to be able to just scan everything because that is your quickest path, especially with Card Dealer Pro.
Which
yeah, helping you with that and the AI and all that. But we've just come to the conclusion that there's some stuff that you just can't scan. So you have to have some sort of process for being able to do that quick enough. I found the app of the phone is by far the best way to do it, cleanest way to do it, quickest way to do it. And your best bet when you're going to sell stuff is to just sort into 2 different boxes or piles or whatever. Stuff to scan, stuff to photograph. And and just take turns of, okay, I got to get some of the shiny stuff on there. Okay, this stuff I can scan quick and get on there, and just kind of keep working through it. So you said you upgraded to a store. What level store did you buy?
Like the $21 one.
Okay, so the standard store. So you'll have 11,000 listings then right now that you can get to.
Yeah, I'm in no rush. But now that I scanner, I can, if I was really proficient at it, I could scan all day and get there real fast.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the sales come from shiny cards, or cards that are die cut, or thicker cards, or jersey cards. Any of that kind of stuff that just can't be scanned. So, it's real hard when you're looking through a box and you're going, I'll just buy all these because these are scannable, but it's not necessarily your best way to profit. But the non-sport stuff is interesting. I'm always so amazed at how many dealers will pass on buying non-sport stuff just because they don't know what it is. At our last show, I was one of the last dealers this gentleman came to, and he had a stack of old weird wheel stickers and wacky packages from the 70s.
I bought them.
And every dealer passed on them, and he wanted like $30 for this stack of like 200 of these. There was one, I knew there was, because some of the cigarette card ones sell pretty well, because you don't see cigarette advertising anymore. But anyway, I know one of those was going for like $35 alone. I'm like, why is everybody passing on these? And they're scannable, and they're just white border stickers, just like Garbage Pail Kids. It took me like 5 minutes to list them all. So I think that's kind of the key to growing and getting, adding to your success is try to find the stuff that not everybody else is buying and trying to sell.
Exactly.
And it's not always that easy. There's
no.
So Charlie had to learn all about My Little Ponies.
Yeah.
I listened to them, and I think I have a couple of them in a box somewhere.
Nice.
Get them out.
The ponies, man. You can't. Yeah, don't sleep on the ponies.
I got too many boxes. Any of my friends will tell you, like, it's in a box somewhere. So
it's that one in the back of the storage unit.
Right. Yeah. Good luck getting to the one on the bottom in the back.
Yeah. I had again, Facebook Marketplace. A guy advertised some cards, and this was right at the beginning, like say 2020. And I contacted him. I was at work, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested. Can I come look at these? I get off at work 2:30. I can be there. He goes, hey, someone's coming up to look at it already. I said, well, hey, listen, if the deal doesn't go through, because sometimes they don't.
It wasn't me.
Call me back, right? And this was up above Philly a little bit. And so I'm like, the next day rolls around, it's lunchtime. The guy hasn't called me, but am going to call him. Hey, how's it going? How'd it go? Oh, yeah, the deal didn't go through. I said, hey, listen, I get off at 2:30. I'll be there by 3:30. And I had already pre-packed my truck with tarps and like bungee cords and everything, right, to get this home. So I got up there, and he had stuff in boxes everywhere. And I'm like, okay. And I'm talking to him. It's always good to establish a little bit of rapport with the person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm talking to him, and I'm telling about my experiences. Like, oh, man, yesterday I was on eBay, and I wanted to go for that Jeter, the Murphy set. Just the Jeter card alone was going for over $300. I said, I once it hit 350, I got outbid. I'm like, I'm done. Now you're talking like some Mano-esque type cards. Again, 2020, you could still pick up a Mano card for $300 to $400, $500 now.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, I'm talking to the guy, and I see 2 dome sets sitting there. One's the Murphy dome, and one's the other dome, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, wow, what a coincidence. And then I see on some of the other boxes, it's written like the 92 Bowman. And I'm thinking, well, so I say to the guy, first of all, he said, I've had it in my basement for 16 years. My in-laws are moving in. I see the paint pan and the rollers there. And he's working legitimately. This is his story. And it's true because all that shit's there. And he says, if I don't sell it, I'm putting it in storage. So I had it for 16 years, and it's got to go. I'm like, all right. The guy only wanted $500 for it. So I'm like, listen, no. If I were to sell it, I could get a couple hundred of it back. The Jeter and the Mariano card, $100 for that, right? So that's my justification for the purchase. And I said, well, what's your lowest number? You always got to go with what's your lowest number. Throw a number at me. Because if I don't get 500, it's going back in storage. I'm like, okay, 500. When I get it home within the next couple days, weeks, I'm going through it. And sure enough, the Mariano's was there 3 times. Mariano Rivera. The Jeter was there. It was in the set. And just going through random boxes, I came across one day 4 1993 SP Derek Jeter rookie cards. 4 of them.
Nice.
And then later on, a couple days later, in another box, I found a 5th one. And all this time I'm saying, I know I have 2 of them somewhere in one of my boxes. I just don't know what box, And I'm still maintaining that. They're there somewhere. I just got to find, you know what I mean? Like, you got so much stuff now.
Yep.
You kind of lose track of it all. That's why I'm going to binders. I'm putting everything in binders for my sets, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a good segue to talk about now that you're a seller too. How are you going to organize your inventory?
Organize my inventory. Well, I got my 70s baseball over there, mostly. But when I bought this guy's collection, he had broken it down into Mike Schmidt's 2,000 Mike Schmidt cards, 1,000 of this guy, 500 of this guy. So when I bought it, that's what his thing was. And that's what I was going to go with. Like, oh, I'm already set. But then I watched someone else's videos. I'm like, wait a minute. That whole SKU system seems like it's going to be a lot better for me.
Yeah, it is.
And
you can avoid digging through monster boxes looking for that one card you just sold. Yeah.
I couldn't find a big metal monster that he's got, but I bought a $200 metal plastic thing that I put my team bags in. And you saw the one. And I'll tell you, sorry, I copied all your stuff, except you're using team bags. I use so many penny sleeves that I'm reusing the penny sleeve bags for them. Yeah. Because I was throwing them away at one point, but now I'm like, oh, I got a use for them now.
Whatever works, whatever keeps them organized for sure.
I recycle anything I can.
I make videos about recycling where I throw thousands and thousands of old penny sleeves and top loaders and stuff away. And now I'm talking to my buddy Jeff. He goes, well, sometimes I use that old top loader to send them a card in. Why send them a brand new one?
Yep.
A $2 or $3 card, just send them a number.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this 3 years ago when I made that video and I dumped a whole trash can of recyclable plastic in the trash, in the recyclable bin? But so, yeah. But,
So since you kind of brought it up, how are you doing your shipping? What's your What's your path for that? What kind of envelopes are you using? How you packing them? Stuff like that.
I had coordinated with Mr. Airtime a lot, and so it's just 4x6s.
Okay.
And I was doing like cutting another envelope down, sliding everything, taping it up, putting it inside the other one, right? I don't remember if that was his way of doing it or someone else I seen doing it that way. I don't know.
Okay.
But then I just decided that I'm going to wrap it in. So I don't have them here. Hold on. Oh, here they are.
So wrap it in a sheet of paper.
I have the top loaders, but I have I bought 400 of these too.
Yeah,
so
card savers
first, and then I'm going to wrap this in a regular sheet of paper, tape over it, all that stuff. Tape the card in, of course, with painter's tape, all that good stuff. Then pop it in the envelope, and again, I don't know if I got this from you or from who, but to make sure that that flap goes on the bottom to reinforce the bottom of the envelope, put it on the back to hold this flap down. I did get self-sticky ones that said, oh, no licky. and yeah, so it's card, penny sleeve inside of here.
Okay.
So I am, because I don't want my cards to get here destroyed either. So I want to treat the guy like I want to be treated.
Yeah, and it depends on what volume you get to. You know, if you're only shipping out a few cards, you can take the time to fold a piece of paper and, do all that. Right. I found that it doesn't add anything, to be honest with you, other than cost and time.
Okay.
So, and I used to use all the small envelopes too. Now I only use them for cards just because I have so many left. But I was getting a lot of them sent back from the Postal Service asking for more postage.
Really?
Because they couldn't be bent in half. That's their requirement because it goes through the rollers like that.
Okay.
So I switched to number 10s, and then I just tuck the card in this one little corner of the envelope. And then that way it still folds in half.
Okay. So you tape it into that corner to hold it in place?
Just stick it in there. Nope.
I do. I roll. So I put my tape on the top of the top loader, and then I don't have an example here, but then I just take one little piece of tape, I roll it over on itself to be dual-sided, and I stick it on the back side of the top loader, so it just kind of holds it in that corner of the envelope.
Okay.
I
stuff like that.
Yeah, I've found that, if I just take a second and just kind of shove it into the corner real good and then seal it and tape it. And I've never had a problem with it. So, but yeah, it's interesting to see and I'm not saying anybody's way is right or anybody's way is wrong. Right. I think it's just good to see all the different methods, and then you got to run your business how you want to run your business.
So then do you put your label goes over the back of the flap too, or you just stick it on the front?
Yes, every label always goes over the opening because that's like your tamper-proof seal is kind of how I think of it.
Right.
So, when the label goes on there, if that label's cut, right here, well, I know somebody got into that envelope. That's not my fault. So, there's an issue there. And if you're using the small envelopes, you don't need the self-stick because you don't have to seal it at all.
Right.
All I do is stick the card in it, and then I just put the sticker over the flap, so you don't have to lick it anyway. Because it's quite a bit cheaper to get the lick versus the self seal.
Yeah.
When you're doing volume, that matters. A penny or two per envelope is significant.
When I get to your volume, I'm sure that'll be a big concern. I'll be out of all this by then anyway.
Yeah. Right. So,
my wife comes in. She was just in here. I don't know what she wanted, but she was in here like every day. She comes in because she doesn't work either, and she's like, oh, any sales? I said, you'll hear my phone go off if I get a sale. Okay. She's looking at my stack of like 500 labels that I bought, and she goes, "Oh, keep an eye on that. You might come close. You don't want to run out." I'm like, I don't think there's a fear of running out yet. We're only getting like one or two, or I think the most I was 5 cards on one order.
Yeah.
8 envelopes in one day.
That's when my wife really bought in, when she started hearing the phone go off all the time. Then it got away from just her husband plays with men on cardboard to, oh, this really is a business.
Right.
Well, then you're fortunate because my father-in-law has always been on my wife about when is he going to start selling those cards for decades.
Mhm.
So my wife has been patient. So now it's her turn to bask in.
There was never really, and I talked about this a little bit earlier in our conversation, there was never really a good way to sell base cards. You know, you could always sell a 52 mantle. That was, you know, there's always demand and you know, that's a very desired product, I guess. But how do you sell a base, you know, 50-year Derek Jeter card? You know, there was never really a good way to do it, except for shows and that kind of thing. And to me, that's what's really changed. eBay's came up with a way to be able to do that. Now, there's other platforms and stuff where you can sell low-end cards, and they even offer like the envelope tracking, shipping, and stuff like that. But the marketplace is just there's no match. eBay dominates. Have you thought about selling your cards in any other way? Because you said that's it. It's January 1st. I'm doing eBay. I know you said you bought a lot of your stuff on Marketplace. Have you thought about, you know, moving cards in another way? How about getting a table at a show? Anything like that?
I that thought crossed my mind. I had talked with Jeff Airtime about that. I'm like, Jeff, maybe we should just set up at a show, you know? And he's like, no, I ain't setting up at no show. I'm a buyer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it.
Me too, generally.
But I'm also like, maybe I could just set up a flea market. I know, because I used to go buy cards from the guys at the flea market. And this was, you know, within the last couple of years, you're getting Mike Trout cards for 50 cents, Ohtani cards for 50 cents, or Ohtani rookie card for $1, you know? So
where's this flea market? I want dollar Ohtani.
It's well, as far as Green Bay, your show is from you to me. It's that far. It's in. So the one guy retired. He was finally retired. He was 83 years old. But he was set up there, and I used to buy a lot of Trout and Ohtani cards off him. Like, I swear to God, he was the guy that was beating me out on all those Trout lots I was bidding on eBay. And then he'd bring them to the flea market, and I'd buy them off of him for just a little bit of markup.
Sure.
And so I thought about it, you know, but I got to get settled in here first. You know, I want to do this. It's from the comfort of my own house. I don't think about in the hot, sweaty summer time unless I'm going out to buy. And now my whole buying process has changed. It's not so much for me and my PCs. That's there. Right. But now it's like, what else can I get? What else can I learn? What else can I sell? So that's a whole process, and it's going to take a while. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but I know about the older stuff because I grew up with the older stuff that we talked about, the Garbage Kids, the Wacky Packs, the Mad Magazine stuff. I mean, all that older stuff I grew up with. I don't have much of it left, but I know it.
And you might be at a big advantage because what you'll find, you know, you said you're going to your first show. What you'll probably find, and I don't know the New Jersey card show market that well, but what you're probably going to find is mostly ultra modern stuff, cards that have come out within the last 3-4 years. Yeah, and Pokemon. So you know, you might have some advantage because if there is somebody there with some older stuff, you know, there might not be that buying crowd. You might be able to grab that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know. I don't have a lot of factual data on this, but I feel like the East Coast markets have a stronger vintage market.
Yes.
Yeah. The Philly show.
Well, you've got all the original baseball teams out there. You know, you got the Yankees, you got the Brooklyn Dodgers, you got, you know, the Atlanta, you got the Red Sox. Yeah, I mean, that's where baseball really was. You know, the West Coast picked it up a few years after that, but all those early sets and players and stuff, you know, the big name players are all from out east.
All those old people from New York that had the Dodgers, the Yankees, right?
Yeah,
you know, the Giants. So all those old guys, they were
New York Giants,
cards, and so those cards are coming to the market slowly, you know, through their grandchildren and stuff like that. So you see a lot of that stuff at the place like the Philly show, which is the longest running, continuous running card show in the nation, in the country. It's been running since the mid 70s. I remember going there as soon as I could drive in 78, going to it and checking it out and stuff like that. So, it changes venue. That's it. And it's always been a heavy vintage card place to go by. There's some modern, and you see all the kids with their Pelican boxes running around too, right?
Yeah.
You see all that, and whatever. That's their thing. That's their shtick. I get it. But up until a couple of years ago, you could buy vintage fairly reasonable, but now everyone's coming in for vintage. It's kind of
I started buying a lot of vintage commons. I really like the commons. I like the big names too, of course, but people will just sell you the commons so cheap, and you can still get a few bucks a piece for them because there's so many set collectors for vintage. That's not something you see now. If you have a base card now of some offensive lineman on a not very good football team, you're not going to get a buyer. Versus, some unknown second baseman, from 1969, you'll sell that card because somebody needs that in their set.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So you have to kind of. To me, the biggest tip when you're buying at a show is you have to be able to change your mindset really quickly between different things. Okay, so if I'm buying non-sport, if it's pop culture, I kind of have a price in mind of what I'd pay for that. If it's cards, sets that I have never seen before, well, I'll pay up a little bit then. Like you have to kind of keep changing yourself around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For that buying experience to sort of fit what you're doing with it. Like I wouldn't buy a big box of 2023 Prism football commons. You're going to have a hard time, finding a buyer, but I'll buy a big box of 1975 Topps football commons, it's kind of tricky. It took Charlie a little while too, to really get good at buying at a show, but it is by far the best way to get inventory.
I was just, so my wife is actually opening a book selling store on eBay now, and she asked me to come out with her last night to potentially buy some stuff from a thrift shop. And I was just telling her that you will learn as you go. You're going to make some buys that don't pan out early on because there's so much to learn. Your heart says, get this. And then you find out, you know what? Maybe I'm the only person in the world that really gets excited.
I really like that book. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and there's other factors at play. How many are for sale?
Right.
What is the demand? How many have sold previously?
Right.
What's the price? The pricing matters. Okay, great. This card sells really well at $5. Well, you can't pay $4.50 for it.
Right. Right.
By the time you have your eBay costs and your shipping and your time and everything else, you're never going to get anywhere. So, it's tough when you get into those boxes. You really have to kind of take your brain and put it in a totally different track, and then you have to think about what kind of a deal am I going to get. So most of the time when I go in and it's a quarter box, I'm looking at those cards, at being more like 18 to 20 cents because I'm going to make sure I get enough, and then make an offer to get a deal, a quantity deal. And then if they're top loaded, well, that adds value because, as you just mentioned earlier, you can use those top loads for shipping. So that's a shipping supply, value add on purchasing that card. So, box buying is great, but it does take a certain focus, that maybe you wouldn't normally have for doing something else.
Okay. Let me ask you guys something regarding sales. It's a little bit off of the subject of what we're talking because we've already talked about this, but it just crossed my mind. So when you list a card and it's like primo card and all about the high numbers versus low numbers, whether it's a common, but it's a high number common, right? So they're less produced normally, especially talking vintage.
Yep.
And you list it at a price that you know is a good price, a price that it should be priced at, right? So say if it's a $4 card, you price it at $4, and then someone throws you an offer of $2, like a low ball.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that? You don't have to say if you don't want to. You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I the spot, but
I'll answer it. Do you want to go first, Charlie, or you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I will tell you, for me, it's been an evolution of how I respond to that. When I started, I was hanging on the price in my head very strongly, and fighting for every bit of that margin on every single card. Like I would talk with Adam, and I'd be like, "Oh, I think I can get another, 75 cents on this or something like that," right? But over time, as my inventory grew and I got a better picture of, what's moving, what's been sitting a long time, I really loosened up, and I looked at it as somewhat of a marketing advertising expense. If I take a lower offer, on that card, that buyer may grab 3 or 4 more. And if it's a card that's been sitting in my inventory for a year, well, clearly the market wasn't as strong as I thought, and I probably should be reducing the price, right? So I'll take a lot more of those low offers now, as long as it covers my expenses.
Well, when you would message me that, what would I reply to you with?
It was something about money today.
What did you pay for? And what did you pay for it?
Yeah.
Well, you made a profit. Take your profit. You have to take profits.
Yeah.
So that's your answer is take the.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a little bit more answer. If you're interested.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't ask it if I didn't want to answer.
So I price differently than others because to me, I'm Nike and not Skechers. I want to be the seller who's selling, good quality service and fast shipping, and I believe that has extra value. So if that card it's hot, like you said, it's doing well, and there's sales and people list and they're buying. And it's going for $4, I would list it at $5.99. And the reason I would do that is it would give me room to get those offers, because people are they just want a deal. They don't really care what the final price is. They just want to know that they didn't pay your price. So if I list it at $5.99, they'll offer me $4.99 for it, or $4 for it. So now I'm getting market. Great, sale, done. They feel like they got a good deal. I got what the market price was. I still sold my Nikes, right? Not at a Skechers price. Also, like Charlie said, it allows me to look at combined sales. So if the card's priced at $5.99 and there's another $4 card priced at $5.99, and they offer me $3 for each card, now I'm going to take it, because now I get that 2-card sale.
Right. Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So you want to leave yourself some margin and not only that, I use coupons and promotions and things like that cost money. So if I have like a multi-card coupon where they can get 25% off, 30% off, or something like that for multiple cards, now that $5.99 card, I'm still getting my $4 for it, but I've sold multiple cards.
Okay. All right. No, because I don't want to sell something too cheap also. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I've been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to look at the guy like tonight. I bought a box of cards off of eBay, a box that I wanted. Actually, it was 48 packs. It was more than a box. And the guy wanted $30, free shipping. So I'm like, ooh, $30, free shipping. Yeah. And I thought about it, and I'm the same way. So, should I offer him only 25? But then I'm thinking, that's a low ball offer, kind of. He's paying for the shipping already.
Yeah.
So I offered him 27 or something, and he came back with just a little over 27, like 27.75. I'm like, oh, deal, sure. I didn't want to I wanted to split the difference with him, and he did. And I'm like, oh, no hesitation, deal, because I wanted these.
One of the biggest things in this hobby is people like the deal. They like to make that bicker. There isn't a lot in life you can do that with anymore. People used to love doing that with buying cars, right? But now it's all this no haggle, price guarantee, blah, blah, blah. Well, screw that. I want to haggle. That is one of my favorite parts.
It's my God-given right.
Yeah. I want to know that I got a deal and my customer wants to get a deal too. So let's find a way to, have some negotiation in it. I like that stuff. If you're not into that, then you better price under market because it's the only way you're going to get any sales.
No, I don't mind coming down or doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Counter offering. Like you make an offer, counter offer. That's fine. Let's compromise. Yep. So, and that's what I've done. But I just don't know if you want to do that with every card.
Not every card.
Is that guy that he'll compromise on everything.
Yeah, I mean there are some cards I'll still hold a little tighter on, but I would say the majority I've become a lot more flexible on.
And again, there's people who don't want the haggle. So money, the value of money is different to everyone. Where you might have some buyer come in and they're like, I only have $5 to spend, and I want this $5.99 card. I'm going to offer them $5 so I can get the card that I want. There might be somebody else who's got $2.5 million sitting in the bank, and this is just a card their kid wants. They're just going to pay the $5.99.
Yeah.
So it allows you to get that maximum amount. Probably 50% of my sales in a day are just sold at full price. I don't even get offers. So especially when you build that brand up and you have regular customers coming back, you're in a bit of a different spot where you kind of have to make deals because nobody knows who you are, right? So you might have to take a little bit less money for some things, for a little while until you get some of that built up. But eventually, you can kind of dictate, where pricing goes. I don't normally read a lot of my feedback, but just out of coincidence today, I was reading some of them, and I get a lot of comments now where like, this is the only guy I buy cards from, or always has great shipping, so I keep coming back. And that's a lot of what my feedback is. And I think there's a lot more value in that than most eBay sellers. I think it gets taken for granted, right? Like, oh, well, you're just selling on eBay. You can't build a brand. In fact, I had somebody post that to me on one of my videos today. Well, you're just selling on eBay. You're not building a brand. That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not true at all. I mean, I have regular followers and regular customers, and Charlie does too. And you will too. If you do a good job, you'll get those people coming back because eBay is a ghost. It's not, nobody knows who it is. So if they can find somebody operating on eBay that they like and trust, and can continue to make purchases from, why wouldn't you? Even if you pay a premium to get the stuff. So, don't sell yourself short. Build yourself a good brand and provide, follow through on it, right? If you're going to promise these things, you got to do it, which I know you will. And if the market says $4, I'm better than the market because I can provide them something more than the random seller who's selling this one card for $4.
Right. And that's what I was looking at. It's like this card that I'm off, like I don't put junk up. Now I did find one card that after I had posted it had a crease in it. And I was like, damn, I got to modify this posting to let everyone know, take more pictures, point to this crease, and let them know that this card has a crease in it. Because, like, I can okay with little ding corners, but no creases across the cards. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy a card like that either. So I look at my shopping, how I would want to buy a card, and the condition. I can live with an older card with worn out corners, but no creases. I don't care if it's a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. PSA 1.
Yeah, and vintage that's a whole other animal because condition, comes up so much more than ultra modern stuff. So yeah, when you're listing, make sure you choose a fairly accurate,
Oh, yeah, I'm like going down that whole thing. I know you guys don't.
Yeah, the new measurements and yeah.
Yeah, that really consumes time.
Yep. And, that's where the scanner really helps, on the vintage stuff, because you can get such a better picture of it.
Yeah.
To show those fuzzy corners or a crease or whatever. But yeah, put a good description in there. If there is something significant that, reduced the price, such as a crease, that's probably the best example, or a big stain, or some kid wrote their name on the back, especially if there's something on the back. Because you wouldn't believe how many buyers don't look at the back photos.
Or sell.
So,
Or sell.
Yeah. So you need to put something in there, Johnny wrote his name on the back, or, something to that effect, so that
Initials.
you don't get hit with that later on. Yeah.
I've actually gone away from the extra pictures when there's some condition issues. I used to do that. But now I've kind of gotten into the mindset that, okay, I'm listing a $10 near mint card in the market. I'm listing it for $1.99, $2.99, and I've downgraded the condition, and I call out any significant condition issues in the description. I feel like I've done my part. I've made good pictures. I've discounted it significantly, and I've checked all the boxes about condition. That should be enough.
I've never once in my entire career doing this taken extra pictures.
Yeah.
Take a photo of the front, photo of the back. Because if you're a buyer on eBay, and that's where I felt kind of fortunate, because like you, I spent a ton of time buying on eBay. You can zoom right in and go around and look at all the corners. And if you're a buyer and you're concerned with what does this condition look like, and like Charlie said, obviously if it's a deal, there's something with it, and it's been disclosed. No, you look at the photos and you decide if that card's right for you or not. Taking an extra picture of a corner, I don't think that really is, changes the game. It just takes more time, for you to put stuff together.
And eBay allows you to list as excellent as a card with the condition on it. I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
Wow. To me, that's like a fair, grade card if it's got creases in it and stuff. It's not excellent, but the definition, if you read the definition, says it's got noticeable damage, makes it an excellent card. I'm like,
I mean, a near mint is like a PSA 8 or better, right? Like, there's a lot of things that can be on a card to get an 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I started well before they even had condition on there, so it was tough because you'd put like near mint in the listing or whatever, but your near mint is different. So I was really glad eBay came out with something where they're like, okay, this is how we are defining it. So if I choose excellent, you should have a pretty good idea of what that means because it's been defined.
Yeah.
Right.
And then look at the photos if you want to go further into it. But one thing that's interesting is I very, very rarely run into any comments from somebody that's like, hey, this doesn't look like the condition, or this doesn't, it just doesn't happen. So as long as you take a decent photo and you disclose, what's on it, and you choose an accurate condition, field in that eBay listing, you shouldn't have any problems with it.
Okay. How about this? Quantity listings.
No.
Huh? What about it? Go ahead. Quantity listings. I bought a card off of a seller just a couple months back before I got into the store. And I wanted it just to go into my binder for my PC. I know I have it somewhere in a box, but it's doing me no good in that box right now. I wanted to fill that slot in the binder. So it was only a couple boxes. It was a Boston Red Sox, 1980 Topps Boston Red Sox team photo. The picture, front and back, that's all I had. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, that's good. I don't want to check mark. No ink on my cards either, by the way. So there's no, cards like that would get thrown away. No matter how conditioned the cards were in, what year the card is, they're gone. I don't want them. I was giving them away. Then some guy started buying them off of me, but I'm like, I don't want them. They're not going in my store. I understand it. Probably gets to you a little bit because some guys don't have a problem selling them because they do sell. I get it. But Anyway, so I ordered this card and it came to me and I opened it up and I flipped it up on the back and it had everything was check marked off the back. I'm like, so I contacted the guy. I said, listen, this is not the photo. This is not the card in the photo. I ordered the card in the photo. His response was, well, it's a quantity listing. I said, I want a card. I'm being nice about it, though. I'm not like, I may not sound like I'm being nice now. But I want a card that's uncheck marked. I will send this card back to you. I don't have a problem with that. Just give me one that's uncheck marked. He's like, don't send the card back. That's typical. I know. Don't send it back. Just keep it. I'll send you another one. Second one came, check marked. I'm like, dude, come on. Now I messaged him again. I said, dude, we talked about this. That does not fit in my collection.
Yeah.
Can you please give me a card that's not check marked? Oh, well, we must not have checked that before we pulled it out of the quantity listing.
That's a problem.
Look at the back. I'm like, come on, dude. You and we had this conversation. So finally, third time's the charm. He got it right. I gave him a good review. I didn't say anything bad. I'm like, okay, thank you. You got it right. That's all that matters. You know, I've sent cards back to people too. I'm like, no, this is not what I want. Oh, don't send it back. No, I'm sending it back to prove to you that I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm not trying to rip you off on this 1966 Topps Pittsburgh Pirate rookie card, team rookie guys. And that's another thing. I ordered that card, since I'm talking about it. When the scanner scanned it, it put blocks on the card that looked like a printing error. Right? It looked like it was I'm a guy who does variations and stuff like that. I said, oh, I've never seen that card. I never even heard about it. It's got ink missing from part of the banner on top. Let me buy that one. So I bought it. And I'm going online. So, well, after I already paid for it, I'm going on, I'm looking. There's other ones that had the same issue. I'm like, is there more than one? And how did I not know about this? So I'm like, buy. I bought 5 of them, right? I'm like, well, I'm going to corner the market on this one. And if I could flip them, I'll just flip them. But I want one for my own binder. And it gets to me and there's nothing in it. So I contacted the guy. I'm like, hey, the card in the photo has these 2 blocks. Do you see it? And he goes, yeah, my scanner does that sometimes. I don't know why. And after he said that, I'm like, well, he's not lying to me, because when all these other cards arrived, they all had perfect cards too. And I'm like, scanners, I guess, do that. I had a flatbed, and I'm like, I'm not using it. I went to the scanner.
You won't run into that with the Fujitsu. As long as you have your settings correct, that won't be something that will. I've never had that happen, and I scan a good amount of vintage stuff. As far as quantity listings go, I do a lot of them, but only if the condition is all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm listing, this chrome modern baseball card, well, they're all going to be mint,
Right.
Unless one, something happened to it. But I would never do that with vintage cards, because each vintage card is almost unique, because it has its own journey. There's, centering issues. There's, like you said, there's printer dots. There's, marks on them. There's fuzziness, things like that. So I list every single. If I have 10 copies of this vintage common, it gets 10 scans. And then I pull that specific card. And actually what I started doing now, because I do like 40 cards in my bag, so what I'll do is, let's say I pull a stack of stuff I'm going to scan and it's vintage. I'll only scan 1 in this stack and I'll put the other 4 aside. That way, when the card sells and it's identified in this bag, I only have that 1 copy of that card. So I'm not looking through all 5 copies going, well, which one did he buy? Or, like you said, that other seller did, I pulled the wrong one versus the one that was in that photo.
Right.
So then when I go do my next vintage batch, I'll take another copy of that same card and put it in that batch.
Right.
And then whichever batch the buyer buys out of, that's the exact card they're going to get.
Okay. For vintage, obviously, because they are condition sensitive more than the new stuff.
Yeah, there's just, you can have a stack of 35 copies of a single card, and I guarantee you none of them look exactly the same. Well, you know that. You've done enough vintage. There's always going to be some sort of dot or the printer started running out of ink, so this one's lighter than that one, or the color red is different on each one. It's just not worth it to try to multi-list that. And then like you said, the buyer is looking for a certain card and that's not the one they get. You're just going to have to deal with returns and refunds. And I was going to tell you this earlier, Charlie, but we didn't have a chance to talk before this, but I actually had to give a refund today, and it was because a package got lost over Christmas. It was like 5 or 6 cards. So I filed the PIP claim, and I got the PIP claim approved. I got paid up back on it and everything. But I was just curious. I'm like, how many PIP claims did I have last year?
Yeah.
And I'm sending out, 2,500 packages a week, right? So pretty good volume. And I have 3 PIP claims the entire year. That's it.
Yeah.
So to me, that says I have an efficient mailing process that the post office approves of the way I'm doing it. And I have a good inventory system because I'm pulling the correct cards and sending them out. I'm shipping them on time. I'm responsive to the customer, right? All those things are happening because otherwise I would have more claims. So it's fun once you've been doing something for a while to go back and see actual results, right? Is this actually working? And the customer was great. He's like, dude, I know this isn't your fault, but he's like, you sent this before Christmas and I still don't have it. I'm pretty sure it's gone. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Just file. I make the customer file a claim because I just want it that way. And I want that conversation because when you file for the PIP, and you obviously haven't had to do this yet, Mickey, but you will at some point. But when you file for that insurance claim, I want that conversation with the customer that says, hey, I didn't get this. I'm going to file a claim. And I say, yep, I'll refund. It just makes the claim adjuster, it makes their job so easy. They're just like, yep, no problem. Here's your money. And it goes right in your account. And you don't have to deal with it after that. And then your customer's made whole, you're made whole, and you just move on.
Okay.
And then I think you can one that shows delivered, and they still say they didn't get it.
You don't have to, and you don't have to refund them, and I don't refund those unless it's a really good customer of mine where I know, like, dude, I sent this guy like 30 orders. There's no way he's lying about this.
Could have been delivered
to the wrong house. I'm sorry.
Could have been delivered to the wrong house, like.
But that's not my fault.
No, I know. But I'm saying, like, he's a good customer.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. In that situation, it would be, or if it's a really low dollar card, I won't do a refund, but I'll be like, okay, it's this base, Bo Jackson card I sold for $2. I'll send you another one.
There you go.
I'll try to fill their order. I'd rather do that than send a refund. I don't want to give my money away. So, I'll say, I'll send another copy out. And I've done that, a few times too. But if you have a good process, you shouldn't run into that often anyway. Okay. I found buyers to be very honest, very upfront, very understanding. And I've worked in other customer service industries, and it was not like that at all. So it's interesting that for the most part, I have some face because I have some social media presence, but it's interesting that a completely faceless transaction, I actually have better interactions with my customers than I did anywhere else. And maybe it's also because I'm running my own business, and I feel like I've worked for a lot of businesses that didn't have great customer service, even though they said that was their focus. It really wasn't that. It really wasn't. It was always the bottom line. But it's refreshing. It's nice. I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and being screamed at by something I can't control, from a customer. And I understand why they're pissed. Like, they have a right to be, and I can't do anything about it.
Man, they wanted that card. Yeah.
They wanted that card. So it's been, I even had a customer too, where I sent them the wrong card a couple months ago. And this is a good customer now, but he was kind of a newish customer at the time. And I sent him the wrong card, and he's like, dude, I'll just keep it. And he's like, I'll buy a couple more and then just send it with those cards. And I did. And I sent him a couple extras. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, he tried to help me solve something. It was definitely my error. I sent him the wrong card.
I had better than that. I sent a card. It was like, it wasn't the parallel I thought it was. And it was someone who collects them all. Not only did they send the card back after a discussion, but sent more stuff to me.
Yeah, for the hassle of having to mail back. So
Yeah,
I guess I feel like, and the reason I went full time into doing this was I felt like this was the opportunity to really be able to build something and do it right. I've never entirely felt, and I've worked for good places. I'm not putting them down by any measure, but or not trying to anyway. But I felt like there were things that could be done better, and this was a good business model for me to be able to do that and feel good about it. I feel good about the cards I send, and once in a while I'll get a message from a customer, hey, I bought these 2 Mickey Mantles for my collection, but my kid's really into trout. Can you send me a trout card for my kid? I'll throw a trout card in there. Is it really for their kid, or do they want it? I don't know, but sometimes you just have to do that. If they're putting trust in you when they're buying it, you got to put a little faith in them too. And I always send a business card. I always ask for business again and that kind of thing, and that's allowed me to get to where I'm at. So,
guys, we're 90 minutes in. How about we join in some chat here?
Yeah.
Mickey with us and see what
do we got a lot of chat out there? Charlie's kind of the moderating face, because I just keep talking and forget about what's going on.
That person's got to be in the room to keep things in the right direction, and then also control the flow when it needs to be controlled. So
exactly.
I'm just gonna sit here and eat some peanuts while you
the regulator.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, early on, Brian hopped on here. I know he's not going to be on long. He's heading to Vegas. But he says, yo.
905 Cards, is that the place?
702.
702, that's it. Yeah.
Yo, Happy New Year. Have a good show tonight and a great show on Sunday. He is not able to attend on Sunday, so, I had a conversation with him, but hopefully he can be at the next one. Joe is here with his quad goat. What do we think about quad goats? I like quad goats. Whoa, yeah, I kind of bailed out on you there. Rolo Rips is here. Welcome. I've talked to you in the past. I know you were trying to get on a live, so I'm glad you made it here. Hopefully you stuck around since we didn't talk to you yet. Keith is on here. What's up, fellas? I started a new video, but I've got a ways to go. Congrats on the second store. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, you're staying busy out there, Keith.
Keep the videos coming. You're pumping out a lot more than I am, that's for sure. Troy Barton is here. He says, good evening. Good evening, Troy. Welcome. Art Green, good evening, all. So far, no one's called us gentlemen, so we're on the right track. Good evening, Art. Thanks for being here. Troy says, great video, Adam. I'm assuming he's referring to my video earlier today. Yeah, I hope you liked it. Tried a little different perspective for that one, just for some fun and change up. N.A. Kelly Collectibles is here. Good evening, fellas. Joining late, that's okay. No worries. We're open all hours. Quick fix: if you add more pics to your listing via phone and you have scanner photos added, I just screenshot the scan images and then add the screenshot mobile pics back in. Yeah, I've heard other people doing that. That should be a way to fix it.
Yeah, I've done that. I've also downloaded the image on PC, saved it, uploaded it.
That's what I was gonna say. Just download it. Save it as a PDF or something, and then you can use it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's ways to get around it. Sometimes I just don't feel like going through all that, and I just take pictures and just deal with it.
Black belt and workarounds.
Yeah. Charlie's the workaround guy.
Yeah, workaround ninja.
I'm too lazy for that. Good evening. Started a buy 10 plus and get 50% off sale 4 hours ago. Got 8 orders for a total of 113 cards. First time this kind of sale has worked for me. Yeah, sales are hot right now. So yeah, if you can wave a carrot out in front of those customers, you'll definitely get more sales. Max is here. Max is back. We didn't have Max last week.
Yeah.
We missed you, Max. He says show week. Max is going to be at the GOAT show. has some amazing Pokemon stuff. He's always buying. So if you're looking to sell some Pokemon, get your butt out to that goat show and deal with Max. You'll know who he is instantly. He always has these sweet designer Hawaiian Pokemon shirts.
Yes.
So you can't miss them.
Envious of those shirts.
Tank Rodriguez says, dude, hands down, your inventory system is a game changer for me, especially since I sell mainly Pokemon cards. I used to organize by set, FML, LOL. Great. I'm glad that you're picked up on that. Now, to be fair, we have to give original credit to that concept. We modified it a bit, adding dates and things like that to the bags, but the original idea came from a viewer on this live show. She was on one of the early episodes and was talking about it, and Charlie and I on the show were like, what? This is exactly what we need to do. And switched. This was about a year ago. Yeah, exactly. It was about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that viewer's gone. I don't know. She just doesn't come on anymore. But, yeah, we credit to her for the idea.
Okay.
Dan says, what's up, everyone? Sorry I'm late. My brain fell asleep. Too many late night card grinds.
The wild card special.
The wild card, man. I don't know. He should just change his logo to wild card, you know, and just
it's addicting. I know. I'm a recovering wild card addict.
And, you know, and everybody poo-pooed the wild cards for so long. And I was like, no, wild card is dope, man. You gotta do some wild card.
I gotta set myself some limits for the National this year.
Right. Let's see. For less than desirable cards, yes. Reminder that there's no post office tomorrow. I did not forget because I'm going to have a nap tomorrow afternoon. It's already on my schedule. So
still getting up at 3 a.m.?
Yep. Well, yeah, this morning I got up about 3:30. Tomorrow I might get up at 4. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. But yeah, I'm an early morning guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with Mickey.
Yeah. And that's okay. To each his own. This is late night for me. Like, I don't do 10 o'clock. So Max says price at market and set your percentage, but never ignore offers, either counter or decline. 1,000% agree. Those are your customers. Do not ignore them. Other people will ignore them, and that'll be a big mistake. Nando is here. I think Nando's new to the show, right, Charlie? You have a better memory for that stuff than me.
That is the way.
Yeah, that is. Anyway, he says, hello, everyone. Hello back to you. Thanks for joining us. Interesting show, guys. Very entertaining show. Boomslang, cool guy. Awesome stories. Thank you so much. We appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
By the way, and just to put the plug in for the show, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, except for that one Wednesday. I know. It was my fault. I couldn't do it. I was dead to the world. But anyway, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, Charlie, myself, and the GOAT are here. Luckily, tonight we've got Mickey joining us, Mr. Boomslang. Why don't you tell us what's your channel name for people who want to subscribe?
So my YouTube channel is just Boomslang.
Okay.
You'll find it quicker because there's a whole bunch of snake channels out there that are going to pop up. So if you type in Boomslang channel, you'll see my avatar with me standing there with my arms crossed and an American flag draped behind me. I took that on a mission. We were on when I was on active duty, we were flying a mission over Afghanistan. So I took a nice time to take a photo op with the flag behind me. Nice. That's my avatar. And I also use that for my eBay store, which is Boom's Card Warehouse.
Boom's Card Warehouse. Okay, excellent.
That's it.
Well, just out of curiosity, what did you do in the military? What was your role?
I was a crew chief. I worked F-15s, F-16s, and then the last 12 years of my career was on KC-10s, which are in-flight refuelers.
Okay.
For 12 years.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys paying my salary.
Fair enough. You've earned it.
There you go.
It's work I couldn't do. That's for sure.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting. I'm just not that mechanically inclined. I don't know that. Did you actually work on the vehicles themselves? Or
Oh yeah.
yeah, see, I don't know that I could do that. I have a friend who's in the military right now, and he's a drone operator.
Ooh,
And
that's a nice job.
he does some cool stuff. And
You
we're
get to
talking the drones that are like the size of a house, you know?
Oh yeah. Reaper drones and
Yeah. He's I don't know exactly what he does with them, but he does actually like fly and test and do things like that. And like, man, that's awesome. I wish they'd had jobs like that when, you know, when I was of military age. It might have been something that would have interested me.
yeah, it's got to be a great job to have now, right? I mean, you're not exactly a pilot, but you are. You sit in let's say you sit in a hangar in Texas and you're flying a mission out over Iraq, Afghanistan, or Syria, somewhere else. You're just flying, and then you just fly that thing. You do it. Your guy comes in, you tag off, you debrief what you're doing. Okay, we got X amount of time left, and then you're going to recover. You're going to land somewhere else at a friendly base, you know, where Americans are, and do it all again the next day.
Sure.
For a guy like
Sure.
me, I used to get up and go to work every day, out in the snow, the rain, the ice, the cold, the heat, you name it, and have to deal with the elements. These guys now, you know, there's still guys that do that job, but if you're a drone pilot, you got it nice.
Yeah. He's loving it. So
No doubt.
you know, yeah, I'm happy for him that he found something he wanted to do for sure.
Yes.
Charlie, maybe you can help us out here. Tank says he's trying to join the Discord, but the link is expired. If you could pop a new one on our scroll. Right now we got Mickey's channel down below, so make sure you guys check that out. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Are you just making card videos now? Is that all you're doing on the channel? Because you said you started the channel to do something else.
I got everything broken down into playlists. So yeah, if you want to do cards, you do it's called my playlist for that is called Mail Call. So I started out doing TTMs and stuff like that through the mail, autographs and stuff like that, and then it just segued into what I'm doing.
Okay.
So broken down.
Okay, that makes sense. My very first video on my channel was a review of a Baby Yoda toy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so totally not related to what I do now. It went viral because some knockoff toy company used it to advertise their knockoff version of the toy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so every time someone clicked on the link to see the toy, they got my video. So it's got like 112,000 views or something now.
That crushes it.
Yeah, which is crazy. It kind of sucked at the time because I wasn't monetized, so all these clicks were coming through and I didn't get anything. But now, once in a while, it'll still get clicks, and you know, now I'm monetized, so at least I get something out of it.
Yeah, my highest viewed is a short too. Highest viewed video I got is a short. So,
yeah,
you know,
YouTube's fun. There's lots of different things you can do with it. You know, doing shorts and different reviews and things like that. So it's a good opportunity to get your voice out there a little bit. I used to do some stuff on social media, like things with Facebook, but social media has just gotten so evil. There's just so much negative. I feel like YouTube is still positive. Like I post videos and I mostly get positive feedback, you know, hey, thanks for the video, or good job, or hey, you know, I'll watch this later or something like that. And it doesn't feel like you get that same response in other places. So I like YouTube for that, mainly for that reason. Dan says he totally didn't buy a Dino box last week. He couldn't help it because it was only $89 cheaper than the National. I didn't know they had Dino boxes back. I would have bought one. Those are pretty awesome.
He was looking at it. We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, $89 less. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. N.A. Kelly wants to thank you for your service also, Mickey.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
On the screen again, this is Mickey's channel, so go ahead and check it out. Do you go by Mickey? Is that the name you...
Boomslang or Boom.
Boomslang, Boom, okay.
I mean, Mickey is my name, so.
Right. Well, some people don't like to go by their name, so, you know, hey.
I'm known more by Boomslang, yes.
Okay.
A lot of my viewers and stuff like that.
Fair enough. Let's see. Maybe add a mod wrench to your regular viewers on the live. Then you can determine who's new in chat. That's a good idea. I don't know how to do that. Charlie, add wrenches.
I'll see what I can do.
It's almost everybody that comes to my channel, if they've been there for a little bit, they get a mod wrench.
Yeah, I should do. I think you have to click on the little
yeah, the little dots on the side.
Yeah, the kebab. You have to click on the kebab, and then I think there's a wrench option on there. It's not on the.
I can put users in a timeout.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting too. It says star the comment or put them in a timeout, and neither of those really apply. So I don't know. Because we're not doing this. This video is not on YouTube live. It's on StreamYard, posting to YouTube. So I should probably just upgrade and buy the real StreamYard at some point, but just didn't make a lot of financial sense up to this point.
Oh, I have it. I bought it, and I hardly use it. I hardly use it. Someday I'll tell you the story about what happened to me when I was live. So yeah.
Okay.
It had to be after we shut down the stream.
Okay. Yeah, I've looked into like some of the stuff that StreamYard offers when you subscribe, or, when you have the paid version. It just doesn't seem like most of it applies to what we do. So it's kind of like a waste of money in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I can put money into other stuff. I need better equipment, do other videos, things like that. So it's not like I'm not spending the money. I just don't necessarily think StreamYard is the place for it. So Joe says something like that happened to me with a photo of some bottles of wine I took, someone illegally using it on their site. Yeah, with the farming of posts and things and photos and stuff nowadays. Yeah, it's because it was really weird. I posted the video, and they were, like I said, it was just a dumb little channel that I had, and I really thought the toy was cool, so I just made a video and then I just posted it on Facebook. That's the only reason I did it. And then one day I went back and I'm like, this thing has like 30,000 views. What the hell? Yeah, and then so I kind of did some sleuthing and I found it on a couple of like bootleg sites. So I'm sure it was like a Wish thing, right? Like, so you order this Yoda and it's just like a pillow of a Yoda and not this cool figure that I had, right? That had all this interaction stuff and that. So I'm sure they con people. Not that it was any of my doing, but my video was on there. So yeah, very interesting.
So, by the way, thanks, Keith, for the sub.
Yeah.
And so you want to hear a funny story real quick before we go? Because it looks like we're planning on going here. I went on eBay and I typed in Mickey Mantle, and I wanted to start looking at some Mickey Mantle cards and stuff like that. And
Who's she? I don't know who she is.
yeah. Well, and you can probably still find it there if you type in Mickey Mantle today. If you scroll through the pictures, you're going to find a picture of me in there.
Oh yeah.
On my military uniform, and it's put up by ComC. It was a
really?
photo. It was a photo from my retirement ceremony that I used as a photo for the Wilmington Blue Rocks, the minor league baseball team down in Delaware, was having like a Veterans Day, military type thing, and they want to honor some people. They said, "Hey, we're putting together a deck of cards." And I'm thinking like Saddam Hussein, Uday Qusay, right? The deck of cards that the government put out with all the pictures of the people that they were hunting, right? I'm like, ooh, I got to be an ace or I'm going to be a 2. What am I going to be, And I'm like, can't wait to get down there. And I go down there and I'm all dressed up, and we're out there in the field and they introduce us and all that. And they come around, they give us our deck of cards. I look at my deck of cards and it was just like a Topps thing with 50 of your exact same photo that you sent to them, except they put their logo, Toyota, and all that stuff on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I thought I had the only ones, and somehow that showed up years later, and it's on eBay. Now I haven't checked in a little bit, a couple of weeks, but it was still
crazy.
There. At first time I saw it was like $3. It went to $9. It got bought. Someone flipped it for like up to $9. Someone bought it again. It was up to like $86. I'm like,
jeez. Why didn't you buy it? You should have totally bought it.
Because I got a stack of them. I'm like, where's my stack? It's in a box somewhere. I'd be throwing my own up there. But I contacted ComC and they're like, I said, listen, I didn't authorize this. that is my likeness, that is my photo, and I'm not authorizing this. And they came back and said, well, it's an official licensed product.
Yeah, secondary market. Yeah,
MLB, and therefore it can be sold. I'm like,
yeah,
And
they're right.
They're right.
Yes, I don't know how many lawyers Comsey has, but yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't have listed it if they weren't allowed to. That's something you have to watch for on eBay, by the way.
Yeah,
not every card is licensed and allowed to be sold. So there are things that are made in garages, and you don't want to list those on eBay. You'll get in trouble.
like those Don Mattingly cards.
There's a ton of them. There's a ton of ASEO cards, or ASEO, or however you pronounce it. That's like the hot new thing with, they make 2017 Mahomes cards, but they're not rookie cards or anything. Okay. Just avoid those. If you want one for your collection, fine, but don't buy them to sell for sure.
No.
So.
All right, that's cool.
Brandon says he subbed as well.
All right,
and
thanks.
And shout out to him for the big box of free Uno cards that made my day. I love the football Uno stuff. I bought a couple more packs today. I'm going to show you this quick.
I've never seen them. I hear you talking about them. I've never seen them. I go to shows.
Yeah,
hard enough.
I think they're in
shows. I only see them on retail shelves.
They're only Walmart's the only place that sells them.
Yeah.
Never
seen a Walmart exclusive thing. Yeah. Oh, here they are. I pulled another case hit. I bought 4 boxes and I got a case hit. So I got the T. Higgins case hit. So a little bit better player at least this time. I think I had Ryan something or other.
And what's his thing on the back?
But it's got a different foil on it than, like, these are the normal foils. You get 4 foils per pack. The normal foils are just kind of this like wavy pattern. And then this has like a starburst kind of. It's a little hard to tell on the camera, but
I can see it kind of raised.
Yeah, I love the Uno cards. So basically, it's just like any other Uno game. You can build a whole deck out of these different football player cards. Some are harder to get than others, obviously. Like the case hits. The Ryan, I can't remember Ryan Kerrigan maybe was the card that I sold. That was the case hit. But I got $28 for that card. It's crazy. These are only $5 a pack, so the case hits do pretty well. So I'm asking $40 for the Higgins. Yeah, they're just really fun. I love that kind of stuff. They made a bunch of cards of players that don't normally get cards, linemen and stuff like that. And you mentioned it earlier. You like the oddballs and you sell the oddballs. Oh yeah, I do. That's way more fun than a pack of Donruss that anybody else can pick up. Yeah. So it's one of the reasons I love the wild card too.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the Uno cards he sent me. He just wanted the foils. He bought a bunch of packs and what he does for sales, he doesn't do the base stuff. So he's like, hey, do you want these? I'll send them to you. So I appreciate it. And he says next season I'll send you some dues. But Ching, you're right. Uno dos. I think he's saying dos because these are Unos, right? So Uno dos.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that Uno's gonna do a set every year or anything. I don't really want that. The only downside to them is there's no rookies, so you can't get like Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and all that. But 64 cards for $5, and you get 4 guaranteed foils. Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. They're just fun. They're fun. If your Walmart has them, I suggest just picking up a couple and having some fun with it. Because there's 4 colors for every player, so there's basically parallels with all the base cards because you got the blue and the green and the yellow and the red.
Do your commons sell?
Yeah, I sell quite a few of them. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Like I said, there's cards of players that don't normally get cards, so that's kind of the bigger appeal. I guess I look at it like there's so many player collectors and team collectors. That's 99% of the customers that I deal with. So if you're collecting, I don't know, let's say you're collecting Patrick Mahomes cards, is it hard for you to go out and find a Prism-based Patrick Mahomes from this year? Not really, right?
No.
But how many people are selling the Uno cards? And you want the Uno card. It's a fun card to have in your Mahomes collection. So that's the way I look at it. It's just less competition for me to sell them. You can sell them super cheap. Like I said, you get 64 cards for $5. So even if you sell them, for $1 a piece after fees, it doesn't take much to get to the break even. You make a profit just selling the foils, the 4 foils you get, even regardless of who the player is. So any of the base cards is all just pure profit. And sometimes I'll put them in kids packs too. So I make a bunch of kids packs for a shop around here who sells kids athletic clothing, and you just sell these little repacks for a couple bucks. And I've made that connection, and I sell him those. So they're great cards for that because, like I said, at least they're current players,
Right.
Which kids want, but they're not expensive. They're cheap for me to obtain, so I can keep the price down. Try to do that. You can't sell a pack of cards like that, a repack of cards like that to a kid for $10. You're not going to sell them. They need to be $2 or $3, for a handful of cards. So, So I have a place to put them if I can't sell them myself, which is nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
No cards.
Yes, Uno cards are sneaky too because they're kept in the toy section. A lot of card people don't know they exist. Yes, let's try to keep it that way. But yeah, you go to that. Yeah, you go to that card aisle in the front, and it's picked over instantly. And they're in the back by the other Uno packs. In the
Never seen that.
rooms. Yeah,
That's out of the bag now.
Yeah. So I buy them. I've managed to get two of the
Prism Monopoly basketball cards.
Yes, exactly.
Monopoly are back there too.
Yep.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, Monopoly the last couple of years has had a basketball product. I have not found any of those packs at all in the stores.
No,
myself, but
to be honest, I never looked for like the basketball, the soccer. I walk right by them in the thing, because I've been so focused on I'm a baseball guy.
Mm-hmm.
All that other sports was back in the 70s, and I haven't done much since then.
Yeah, it's
gonna change.
There's just some really fun stuff out there. There's cards of all kinds of different. Charlie likes the pickleball cards. They make cards for pickleball players. There's rugby cards. There's soccer. There's poker cards. If you're into poker, like there's lots of different things out there. It's fun to kind of expand and see the other stuff.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, poker cards, I have some of those. I just got some. I don't remember where I put them. I think they're over here. Pickleball? Yeah, the pickleball ones.
Yeah. Pickleball, metal pickleball, I think it is.
Okay, who's the top
metal
in the country?
For the women, it's Annalie Waters.
This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah. He sure does.
I couldn't tell you the male, though. Because I would say that Annalie Waters is not just the best female pickleball player. She's transcended the sport more than anybody else in that sport. So she's like the face of pickleball right now.
She's the Mike Trout or the Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Here's some poker cards. You got this guy here holding up, the big winner there, right? This is Greg Raymer. I don't know if you guys know poker at all. None of these are big names. This is Ted Forrest. I only have a few of them. Kathy Liebert.
Give me some Doyle Brunson.
Ted Forrest. Yeah, I don't have any Doyle Brunson. Or Chris Moneymaker or any of those guys, but
yeah.
I like the weird stuff. Anything that's weird.
The Widowmaker. What was her name?
Wrestling announcers. Huh?
There was a poker pro back when I used to watch it. They called her the Widowmaker, I think.
I don't know.
Remember her real name.
I don't know. I never watched really very closely. But I love these Golden Age cards. Like here's Rita Hayworth,
I got some of them.
Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Here's the trumpet. a card for the trumpet. Why not? Love that stuff. Water skiing squirrels. I'm in. Yeah, there's Sports Illustrated for kids is great. They do all kinds of different sports. Here's downhill skiing. They do snowboarding. They do equestrian. Yeah, it's just great stuff.
Yeah, I know about the Sports Illustrated kids. I've heard about them.
Yeah. That was kind of a sneaky play for a while too, and then that got kind of, because I was getting really good lots for really cheap for a long time, and then all of a sudden it was like, these are getting snapped up. So obviously somebody else has figured this out.
Right. It doesn't take long, especially you have a channel, so you're not afraid to share your knowledge and your experiences with that.
I try to. I realized a little bit over time that I was probably putting a few too many tips out there, so I've I hold back a little bit of stuff now, just because I do this for my living, so I need to
exactly.
I have to protect that a little bit too. But yeah, I think it's fun to. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from the people on these chats, as well as in the Discord and things like that. So it's been fair. I've shared things that has helped others, and others have shared things that have helped us. And that's why we do this show. It was to me to try to pass along my experience stuff to try to help others, and then Charlie being new, at the time we started the show, to kind of come in and be like, hey, you can do this now, or you can do that, or you don't have to do that.
You may have said,
I've been doing that for 10 years. I didn't know that changed, because you get kind of stuck in your ways a little bit with some stuff.
Yeah.
You may have said this before, but how did you two guys meet anyway? You live pretty far away. What's the story, Charlie?
So Adam worked at a financial institution in town that we frequented, and he kind of became our rep there over the years.
I was their banker.
Bank teller.
Yeah. In fact, one of my kids, my oldest, pissed on his office door one day. That was fun. So
I kind of forgot about that until you brought it up like a week ago. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened.
Yeah, when he was in his pull-ups, learning how to take care of himself, and he just decided while we were meeting one day that it was time.
Mm-hmm. So, not only do I teach people how to sell cards, I teach kids how to piss, right?
I think he was commenting on the interest rate on that probably auto loan that we were talking about.
Yeah, he wasn't a fan. See, again, things out of my control. I did not set the interest rates. That was not me.
No, but
I couldn't do that.
He worked at a place that we went to for services, and we were starting families at similar times, and our wives hit it off, and one thing led to another, and one day I visited his house, and he took me to his card room, and kind of lit the fire for me to start doing this, because I had totes and totes in my attic of old baseball cards from the mid 2010s, like 2011 and up. And I had reached a point where I was like, what do I do with this stuff? And then Adam lit the fire to say, I know what you can do with that.
Well, there you go.
You're welcome. We got a $5 donation from Tank. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You have a question. Any of you all have experience with buy sports card? Had a lot of hype last year and just seems to have fallen off. Still worth it for super low end. It hasn't really been for me. I had a couple of sales early on and just really nothing since. But to be fair, I haven't put any more real effort into it. I've been able to sell pretty much anything ultra low end on eBay and much easier. So haven't really gone back to it. I mainly got on there because they were paying you to list cards.
Yes.
Which to me, see, I'm coming to my expiration time here tonight.
All right.
But they were paying,
hour ago.
right. They were paying you to list cards there, so I figured why not.
I can't control them. I can only try to steer them in directions.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. Finish that thought.
So, yeah, I kind of I don't know. I don't really have much in on them anymore. I just really have a lot of success with eBay, so I just kind of stick with that. Hence the second store. My plan going forward is to keep working on the second store. That's my non-sport stuff. I have tons of stuff to list. Keep listing sports as stock sells down. I'll just keep filling it. I got enough stuff. And of course, I'm always buying. And then once I get to the 60,000 listings in the second store, I'm going to go back to the first store, up my subscription there, and go to that 100,000 listings or whatever it is in the anchor store part. I just didn't want to do that yet because they charge you $400 a month to do it, and I just don't see the value for the little bit of extra listings. So to me, a second store makes sense based on what I sell. I have enough things I can kind of split out. I want to get into more gaming cards, so it'll be a good spot for that. Pokemon. I listed some Digimon yesterday. I have some One Piece. I've sold some One Piece in the past, but I have some more One Piece. So I'm going to list those.
So let me ask you about that. I saw a thing on Facebook Marketplace tonight. This lady was advertising a whole stack of these One Piece cards. I'm like, what the hell's, what's a One Piece card? So I had to look it up. I'm like, it still doesn't make sense to me. And she had tons of them. She was trying to get rid of it, but I'm like, I have no idea what they are. So can you show me one again? What's a One Piece card? It's got 2 pictures on it.
So One Piece is a game. So think of it like Pokemon. It's Japanese.
Okay.
So it's all the Japanese art type stuff. How is it played? What is the mechanics? I have no idea, and I don't care. I don't plan
as long as they sell.
Play it. I just know it's popular and people play it and they like the cards. This is the back, so kind of like a Pokemon card. It's just got a deck back, so when you have all your cards facing down, no one knows what your card is you're going to play. So I would assume there's different, based on the art, there's different like attack moves and different characters, and this one's kind of fun. The Death Wink. It's got like a wrestling type vibe to it too. Like a lot of the characters do like wrestling moves and their muscles and shirts off and that kind of thing. And of course, there's other stuff like foils and parallels and
Pokemon.
Rare cards like that. There's the Japanese female art, which has a huge following. There's cards with different colored borders. I don't know what it means, but here's one with like it almost looks like a wood pattern border. So I don't know much about these, but I basically scan them in, and the Card Dealer Pro tells me what to do with it. So
okay.
Here's one. This is like land.
Korean anime series.
I thought it was Japanese. It's Korean?
I think so.
Okay.
I never really saw them until about a year ago, and now I see them all over the place.
Yeah, I sold a bunch of them last year. I was selling mainly just the trading cards themselves, not so much the game cards, but and I've got some Yu-Gi-Oh! I got some Yu-Gi-Oh! To list. I've got some Magic the Gathering.
You're right, it is Japanese.
Yeah. I'm usually right, Charlie. We should just, go with that.
More often than not, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good opportunity for me to take some chances and do some different things. I've got some bench warmer cards I want to list. I've got I had a bunch of Fortnite cards. I listed some of those. I've got more of those yet. I've got some Marvel Overpower from the 90s. Great card game from the 90s.
Okay.
I felt like it was good to have a separate place to put some of that stuff. Now I'm not going to delist my non-sport and gaming cards that I have listed in my primary store. They'll just sell, and I won't, list more there. I'll put them on the other store because it just doesn't make sense to do that. But as I build, they will just kind of naturally find their own place. I truly believe, as much as I think sports cards has a great future, I think gaming and non-sport cards have the biggest potential future. So I really want to create an identity that I'm a big non-sport gaming seller, and work on building that.
Well, it seems to be working for you. That's key. When you come up with videos like you had today, I'm like, wow, that I have to stop filming because I got too many orders to fill. And it's taking,
and I even summated some of it in the video where I was like, okay, well, here's a bunch of orders I already filled, that I didn't get on camera, but it just gets to be too much. I have a really hard time making videos now. I just don't have enough time. The store is so busy. It's not a bad thing, but I don't want to neglect this audience either. It's important to me.
Right.
So we'll see. Yeah, Tank agrees. Female One Piece cards are money. So I was trying to focus, kind of like WWE. I was trying to focus on some of the women art style cards and and getting some of those listed. But bench warmers, it was funny because that just came up in the Discord like yesterday or the day before, and I was like, hey, I got bench warmers too that I'm looking to get listed. So
seems to come back every once in a while.
Yeah.
I was listing those Hooters cards too, and that came up in the conversation.
Yeah, the Hooters cards. Yeah. See, here's some bench warmers right here. This is from the Patriotic set.
Okay.
Some of them are like kind of big names. Here's the boot camp set, so they're all in like, camo bikinis and stuff. Yeah, they don't make them anymore. They don't do any new sets. So
it's out there.
So I think it's kind of a good thing to be in right now. Here's the hot moms one. So you got them with volleyballs and stuff. I don't know why they have soccer balls. Maybe it's soccer balls. I don't know. But yeah, they did a bunch of different sets of those, and I was able to grab a good stack of them. And you kind of mentioned this earlier, but Desert Storm cards, a few of those from those top sets do okay. Yeah, non-sport that's one of my true passions. So I'm really excited to be able to spend some more time building on that.
Okay. Learn something new. I didn't know half of them things you just mentioned. I never knew even existed until I saw that one on Facebook tonight, and I'm like, what is that? Yeah,
One Piece it's a pretty solid game. It's got a pretty good following now. Like I said, I think most of the sales, kind of like Tank mentioned earlier, are based on the art. It has a big art following.
Yep.
But yeah. And I think the longer you do this, you just start looking for some things that have some new interest. I love selling Patrick Mahomes cards and Barry Sanders cards, but like the 100th copy I sell of a 1994 Fleer Ultra Barry Sanders, it doesn't really excite me as much anymore.
Right.
So it's just fun to, with non-sports, sky's the limit, right? It can be, anything can be the subject, I have some really cool Dracula cards and Munsters cards and Back to the Future cards and these creepy freaks type stuff and Hot Rods cards, and like there's just tons of it.
Yep, there is.
And there's markets. Remember that comic set that I got a few months ago, Charlie? Do you remember the Flaming Carrot comics?
No, I don't.
It's literally the comic is literally this guy who has this giant carrot for a head, and it's on fire.
Okay.
That's who the character is, and it's called the Flaming Carrot. And I got him when I was buying a bunch of non-sports sets, and it was something that came in, and I'm like, these are weird and awesome, and I want them. And I listed some, and they were fire. They went really, really fast because nobody else was selling Flaming, Carrot comics cards. Like Chainsaw Man. Do you know who Chainsaw Man is? He's current right now, popular in anime and stuff. But yeah, he's literally like a dude with a flannel like yours, and his head is a chainsaw.
Of course.
But all the Japanese and the anime stuff, that stuff's all big. There's a big market for it, and it's not just America.
Well, Adam, almost on cue,
So-
just like we were talking about early on in the show, that multi-card order just came through late in the night to close out the day. I don't know why, but they're coming late at night lately.
I've been having a lot of that too, but the peak selling time on eBay is 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it fits pretty close in there, and you got to figure we're Central Time too, so there's that extra hour there.
Yeah.
But yeah, inevitably during the show, I get a decent chunk of sales every week. So it's kind of, you're right. It's pretty routine. It's pretty common for that to be almost every week. Yeah. Tank says the same thing. He says no sales at all today, and then at night, boom, all my sales come in. Now I get sales like probably every 10 minutes or so. I get a sale. I kid you not. For the most part, all day long. Sometimes overnight, I
leave the cha-ching on.
Right, exactly. So as you kind of build and you have that customer base and more listings and stuff, the time of day isn't quite as important. But I do still get a bigger majority during those hours than I do any hours of the day, other hours of the day. That's why when people do auctions, they always end them sometime between 7 and 10 p.m. So, Tank also says he's going to join the Discord. He's going to join the Discord soon. So,
I did.
If you need an invite,
put it back out there.
Okay, there is a new link on there. Tank, if you're still out here, go ahead and click on that for an invite, or if you need one, just go on the Discord and just message me, and I'll send you an invite. Because you can find the Discord yourself. It's just the $1 box is the name of our server. You're on there, right, Boomslang?
I'm on Discord, but not on your not on your
What?
thing.
How dare you? That's it. Kick him out.
But I'm
He's off the stage.
As soon as I get done here, I wrote it down too, so I don't forget it. Just gotta remember where I put it.
The Discord is just a great place. We share a lot of different information on there. We've got probably 15 or 16 channels on there now. So there's lots of different spaces to go find any information you want or post. Charlie started kind of a fun thing, FOTD, so first of the day sale, and a lot of the regular Discord users like to go on there and post a picture of their first sale they got that day. And
I may have seen
I see Tank just sent us a request on Discord now, so I'll take care of that when we get off the show here. But yeah, so it's just a great place to get a lot of information. It's free. You can spend a lot of time on there or no time on there, but it's just a great place to gather people who are into what we do. So, but I think I don't know. You guys good for tonight? I think I got to go to bed. So.
Yeah. I'm good for tonight. Thanks, guys, for the invite. I appreciate it. Nice conversation. A lot of good information being exchanged.
I really want to thank you for coming on. You reached out to me and said, "Hey, maybe I got some new insight and I got some questions," and thought it was brilliant. So we would love to have more guests on. This is not a Charlie and Adam show. It's a eBay card reseller show. So anybody else who wants to be on, let me know. And we'll take a look at it and see if it's something that we could work in. It's more fun, for sure.
So one thing real quick, my Discord name is going to be Viper024.
Okay.
Why I got two different ones, but at least they're snakes. They're in the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's still on the snake line there. So yeah,
it's Viper024 probably.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Once you join, you'll get a bunch of hi emojis from a bunch of us, and feel free to explore the channels from there and post and ask questions and have some fun with it. So.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Any parting shots from you, Charlie?
Just really enjoyed having you on tonight, Mickey. It was good to
You're welcome.
Get some new thoughts and get your experiences. It brought back a lot of memories for me when Adam and I started doing this show, and I was kind of right where you were at. So, so good luck to you in your travels with that. I know you'll do great. Check back with us, often. It'll be great to see you out in the Discord. So thanks again.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun, a few months or a year down the road to have you on again and just see how things are going,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But other than that, Adam, you know what I got to say. Peace out. Take care of each other.
Remember, you can't sell what you don't list. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 Central Standard Time.